today to talk about hermit crabs. How to build a setup for a hermit crab that will make the long existence of the life of your hermit crab. People get them at the beach. They send you home with it in a basket, wire mesh basket, the lid and a bottom on it, and a lot of people think that's all it's to it. It's not. It's something for you just to carry home, the hermit crab. But I advise those who are investing in them, they're a great hobby. They're not something that's high maintenance. We do have care sheets on the life and the feeding and the temperature and all that needs to be done with your hermit crabs. But today here, I'm taking this tank, and what you're gonna need in the tank is, and I'm giving you choices. These are not everything that you have to go out and buy the whole store for. These are choices at how you can do it, and how many you have. I have Eco Earth here. This is like a mulch almost. You put this in the bottom, at least 4 inches deep. Excuse me. It comes in a bag already prepared, or it can come in the brick. This is a little less than the bag is. This is for fast action, and this is for a project for the small ones. This goes in a bucket with cold water. Half hour later, it will turn into this. Get the kids in there, and you kind of mush it up and get it dried out, and it turns into the exact same thing. You get your 4 inches at least here, because they are burrowers. They're climbers and they're burrowers. And what you do is you get that set up. For each crab, you should have an extra shell, a little bit bigger than the one that they are in, due to the fact they're going to molt and they're going to change shells. Some change shells many times, others stay in the same shell, and you're going to think, oh my God, he's really hanging out of it. It's their life. They'll know exactly what to do with their bodies when it's time to. When they're molding, they should actually be put into a smaller tank and be left alone. A lot of times people think that the crab had passed away because they don't see any movement. Well, honestly, to tell that they have not passed away, there would not be any connection to the shell. It would just probably slide right out of the shell. Plus you'll have an odor also. But shedding, they're doing their thing. This is where you have different items that are gonna come in handy for doing that. Salt water. Salt water, you have 3 dishes right here. One is gonna be filtered or tap water if you have good tap water. One is gonna be water mixed with this. This is gonna last a really long time because you only need like 2 or 3 pinches. Mix it in with the water. That's for the purpose of getting the minerals and the nutrients that they don't get in their food. So they're gonna get it from that water. And also, the hermit crabs are from a jungle. They're not actually from the beach. They go to the beach and lay their eggs. And they go back. And places like Haiti, for an example. But I don't know if a lot of people know that about them. That's why you see I'm not filling it up with sand like you think it would be like at one of our resorts. Sand actually, like this, can be mixed. Make sure it's calcium sand. Mix it in with the mulch or the bedding, and that helps them get calcium while they're in it, because they have actually like gills on the sides of their body. Food is, they're like scavengers. They'll eat anything. You could do fresh fruits and vegetables, greens. They really enjoy that. And sometimes you might not see them eat it all. If they're molding or if they're going through something that's going on with another hermit crab in the tank, they might be stopping them from eating, and you have to keep an eye out for that also. Because not all hermit crabs get along just because they are similar in their lives. Heating purposes. I have a heating pad that can actually be put on. This will be glued onto the tank. So it's not going to be able to take it off, because if you do, it might be pretty detrimental to the tank if you do try to take it off. You can put this on there on the bottom or on the side, so they only have heat coming from one area, and when it gets too warm for them, they can travel to the other side, so it's cooler for them. That's one of your sources of heat. Another is you'd like to have a screen top because they can get out. Even though you say that's glass all the way around, they can figure ways out to get out. We also have clamps if you feel the need that you have one that is a venturer and tries to lift the lid up. But what you're going to do here is you take the dome. We have several different types of domes. This one's a nice type because it actually has brackets that come off the top and hook onto your screen so that they can't be moved around or anything. You could use red or blue heat light. Nothing major. You could go like 30, 40, 50 depending on the range and what you have inside there. You could do a ceramic one if you're using, this is really good if you're using a screened housing, because it can be just put on the side and left because they don't get to the touch where they're going to burn you or anything. But once again, it's a source where they can come over that area and get heat and then move to another area. The main source in here that you need to do is moisture, humidity. That's what you need. Add water to your bedding. Don't soak it, just enough that it's damp, that it can be packed when they're moving. Because if it's soaked, then it's going to just get into their gills and cause them problems. The temperature gauge for your humidity. Hang it in there. Hang it on the back. Keep track. If you need to, some people will actually cover half the top of the tank with plastic. You can use a fogger, or you can just simply go to like a dollar store and buy a bottle that is a mister. Just mist them every day, every morning, whether you get up, mist the whole area, and that way that's going to help with your humidity and your moisture to build it up. Temperature shouldn't be under 75, I'm sorry. Under 75, so it should be between like 75 and 85 for them to be comfortable and be like the habitat that they come from. They love to burrow and climb. Here's one source of a climbing item. It's a vine. It also has a suction cups on the back of it and a hook. So the hook can go outside of the cage and then just drape it down over top of everything. They will climb up and hide underneath, clamp onto it. And this is a great item here. This is cork bark. This is great. Just make sure the hole that they're getting into is wide enough for them to get out of. Because you don't want to say, like, where did he go? I haven't seen him for days, and then you forget about it, because they can get stuck in these very easily. This is a nice size one, and like I said, measure your shell, make sure they can follow through to the other side. Because sometimes they will stay in these for a long period of time. But they like it, and they can go from one corner to the other at an angle, and that gives them the height so they can climb up and down, and just drape the vine over top of that. For the waste matters. We have sifters. This is a sifter. You can go through it, run it through, sift it through. Or I'm going to say maybe every 3 weeks, dump the whole thing and start all over again. Take just vinegar to clean it out would be fine. Safe for them. Fill it back up. When you open this up, whatever you don't use, just put it in a Ziploc freezer bag, store it so it doesn't get all over everything. Moss, coconut shell, and different matters that will hold moisture is good to lay around different places, like leaves. This is moss. We do sell other matters that are different types of spongy type material that you can put in that will hold moisture. But like I said, you don't have to buy the store to start your adventure on a hermit crab event. These are all choices. But just remember, you do need the humidity, you do need the heat, and you do need the basic things, like the soil, calcium, and something for them to climb on. Other than that, enjoy your time with your hermit crabs, and if you choose to become a professional at it, there's a lot of other things that you can put together and put into your tank. And this is a final display here in the store. A prime example of hanging, climbing, burrowing, the types of foods, the 2 different kinds of water, shells. And as you can see, our hermit crabs, as they like to climb. This is chicken wire. You could also use that on a wooden frame like this one is, if you don't do it like the tank that I demonstrated to you. But as I said, these are choices that you have to follow if you become a bigger hobby than what it starts off to be.